I'm pretty sure you will. Especially with this movie, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find the reason to get mad at me.
Hey,
See,
you know
that's
what?
where
I
you're
actually thought this
wrong.
movie was pretty good.
Yeah, that's where you're wrong. Brothers,
You're the one
sisters,
that said this
gendery
is gonna be a
sisters,
strike
welcome
against me.
to another episode of Chuck Loves This Fucking Movie, and everybody else is going to shit on it except for Ron. No? Also known as the comic book right. We should just call it
You know what? I've already okay. This is great.
We're only 34 seconds in. It's
Sometimes
fine.
Chuck
Chuck's already
likes the
frozen
movie.
up.
So, what are you calling it again?
You know, everything's fine until you hit record, and then it doesn't
really
fucking
is,
work.
right?
Like,
Right.
what are
Don't
we
worry.
doing here?
So I know I've got something in the works. I know when we're recording this now, I haven't actually put the episodes up, but for the last like handful where you're in that has been really bad, I've got something planned for when those recordings go live.
Oh, good.
The podcasts go live to account for all the mess ups. Should be fun.
Where I'm just rambling endlessly.
Kinda. It doesn't come through on the YouTube page because I've kind of been slacking on my editing of those. I just kind of throw shit up and I don't care. So yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, go over to the Patreon, or no, we don't have a Patreon. Go over to the regular podcast feed and listen to those scenes.
Have you just been cutting all the Chuck clips out and putting them together into one long rant?
No. Although I should. No, I'm gonna be I'll have something. You'll see.
Okay. Well, I'll hear.
You'll hear. Yeah, that's right.
Wow, the ones of fans are gonna love it, and by that I mean
They might.
me, Joe, Ron, and what's his nuts that was on last
Chris.
week.
Whoa,
Chris,
whoa, whoa!
like-
I'll have you know that I have at least 3 or 4 people that listen to the podcast regularly. Okay.
I'll tell you what. I've talked about this podcast to my friends at work, and none of them have actually listened. So
I love how you had to count first.
yeah.
I purposely avoid having conversation with people about this podcast, and when they actually bring it up, I go, "No, it's not real. Don't worry about it. It's just a thing I do."
Plus, I did plug us a whole bunch when I went to the midnight sale at Hyde Brothers Books here in town.
Oh, nice.
Because I had a bunch of the stickers still in my pocket, so I just tucked them into all the comics that I found sitting there.
Hey, that one lady from Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see? Ron, that's Ron's job. Ron is community outreach on this network, we've realized. At this point.
That works.
Speaking of community outreach, we watched Timecop. I'm not really sure specifically.
Oh, there was some outreaching going on.
Oh, there was. Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Reaching through time, if you will.
Look, I think it's super important to remember, one, time travel movies will never work.
Some
it's just no.
Some can. No, there are some that can.
No.
Timeline was great.
Timeline was great.
Never saw it.
No. Yeah, it was a good one. But I would just like to say that at the start of this movie, when it was, the Confederates that were sitting there and the dude without the tooth was like, "I'm going to take your money." Right?
Mm-hmm.
That dude is a terrible, terrible reenactor. They didn't have those kind of guns back in the Civil War, okay? So, like,
I'm impressed of his aim, being able to kill all the Confederates and leave the horses alone.
That's how you know he's a true hero. He's killing Confederates, but didn't touch a horse.
Exactly.
Genius.
Pretty awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, I think it's important to establish right off the bat that you can't do a time travel movie correctly and have it not end in a paradox. I understand that's the crux of every plot.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just once, could they make one where it's like so not clear? It should never end happy. There should always just be I don't know. You're just always gonna have a paradox. So I inherently am starting to get burnt out on the what is this? The second time travel movie we watch now? Third?
What was the other
Terminator,
ones?
Terminator 2.
Well, I mean, so Terminator, it's I feel like Terminator is a league of its own.
No, it's a time
Because
travel movie.
no, it is. You are correct, but because of just the franchise itself, because of Terminator Zero, and them finally explaining that every
I've
time
never
you
seen
go back
Terminator
in time,
Zero.
you should. I've talked about it. Every
But
time
we
they go back
haven't
in time,
watched it
creates
for
a
the
new
show.
fair. Okay, fair. That's fair.
Joe, specifically, I'm so thrown off with the fact that it doesn't say comic book rundown / walk through the multiverse. And it's fucking with me real hard for whatever reason. I don't know. It just totally thrown me off. I just
changed
was
it
like
2 weeks ago.
I
Yeah,
didn't realize it. I'm just like, why does it say Joe? What the fuck is happening? What time paradox have I entered? What the hell's going on here?
No, but you are right. Like time. I love time travel movies, probably because they never get it right. Like one of my favorite go-tos of how they got time travel wrong is Avengers Endgame. Like they did wrong in that. Like they should not be in the universe they're in. And when we get to it eventually, I'll explain it better. Because it's been a while since I've seen it, and so like my memory, because there's like 80 MCU projects, I can't remember why I said Endgame was bad in time travel, why their explanation of time travel was terrible. But yes, no, Timeline is a great one. I enjoy Back to the Future for what it is. I will give you a heads up, it is on the list, but that's down the line because there's a Back to the Future comic. But I do like time travel movies just because it's fun to see. Not the paradox, but like I don't know. I always like time travel.
Yeah, I guess like what's different about this one is
Fictional history is fun.
yeah, I've been more and more getting into fictional history with a lot of the things that I like in both like tabletop and miniature wargaming. In like tabletop RPG stuff. Fictional history is becoming more interesting to me. Like I feel like we don't actually get a ton of actually good fictional history stuff anymore. It's always like either super futuristic or it's I don't know, like modern day. It's like they create a fictional past so they can have a different, you know what I mean? Like I just don't feel like we get just cool fictional stuff.
Sure.
I agree.
And I really thought the opening of this movie where he goes back in time
To Wall
was
Street in the
gonna
30s.
yeah, like when he gets sent back in time to like the Confederate War was going to be this based on like there was a book that I read in middle school called fuck, I just had it on the tip of my brain.
They let you read that in middle school?
Yeah, it's a weird book.
Yeah, what the fuck was it called? Guns of Our Fathers? The premise is Nazis go back in time. They build a time machine, go back in time, and give the Confederates machine guns so they can win the war. That's the whole premise of the movie.
Interesting.
It's Guns of the South? Maybe it's Guns of the South. Something like that. That's the whole premise. It's a very interesting book. I remember reading it and thinking it was quite interesting.
The Guns of the South.
Guns of the South.
Alternate history, science fiction novel set during the American Civil War. Let's see, hold on. Stores a group of time traveling members of Afrikaner. I'm not even going to attempt to try and say AWB, some German thing, who from an imagined 21st century South Africa, who supplied Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia with AK-47s and other advanced technology, medicine, and intelligence. Their intervention results in a Confederacy victory in the war.
Yeah, they essentially, because they lose the war, their business goes out.
Afterwards, however, the AWB
Bro.
members discover that their ideas for the Confederate States and leaves are not one and the same. Go figure! As they
Uh-huh.
believed, and General and the men of the South have a violent falling out with the white supremacists from the future.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very interesting book. I read it when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
A Mormon
Published
gave
in
it to me.
1992. A Mormon?
that?
Really?
Yeah, Mormon gave it to me.
Okay.
Mormon. He was like, I really like this book. I think you'll like it too. I was like, okay, thanks, Nate.
That explains.
Shout out to
bit.
Nate. Anyway, he's still doing ministry stuff. Shout out to him. He's doing it. He's living his best life as a Mormon. So I thought that's what we were going into, and then no, it's they're robbing the different times, to get money. So the whole premise is so the senator can run for president and essentially buy the
future,
election in the future.
Yep.
Wow, this was hitting a little too close to home for 2025.
No.
It. I don't know. You sure we don't have time travel yet? Like, so he could build a, fascist oligarchy. That's essentially what he was building. It was awesome.
Yeah. Fiction, man. It's it's never gonna happen in real life. Yeah.
Science fiction. Yeah, it can never happen in real life. Anyway, yeah. So then Jean-Claude Van Damme shows up, looking just like a fucking grade A hot piece of fucking meat in this movie. This is peak. This is peak Muscles from Brussels.
It is. This is his prime.
This is the same year that Street Fighter came out, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Street Fighter came out.
This is pre-coked out or post-coked out? That's the question.
This is during coked out.
Oh.
It might actually be just a little.
This is peak coke out.
It's definitely during coke out. So one thing I did see, I sent you guys that one thing on IMDb, which was weird. But one thing I did find on IMDb about Jean-Claude Van Damme, this was the first Jean-Claude Van Damme movie to gross $100 million worldwide, and his highest grossing solo movie as of 2024. In a way, it was also the prelude to his downfall. By 1995, his success led to a studio offering him a 3-picture deal, which would earn him $12 million per movie, a 50% increase of his $8 million movie or $8 million salary for Street Fighter, also in 1994. However, he demanded $20 million per film, the same as Jim Carrey's salary at the time. The studio balked at this proposal, as Carrey's movies still out-earned Van Damme's 3-1. It was a $1,253 million versus $433 million. He later explained that his rejection, which he did under influence of alcohol and cocaine, was more about consolidating his Hollywood status than the money, but it severely tainted his reputation in the movie industry. This, coupled with several violent incidents and more drug abuse, led to consistently diminishing returns, fewer movie offers, as well as lower salaries. So this movie was his peak. After this, it's all downhill.
That's funny.
In 94?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What is...
he still made movies afterwards, but
when does Double Team come out?
Let me...
Ron, you ever seen the movie Double Team?
Is that the one with Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, someone with Dennis Rodman in it.
Oh.
That movie makes no fucking sense. That is that you want to talk about a cocaine fever dream? Double Team. Highly recommend people go watch it. It doesn't make any sense. Dennis Rodman is barely in it, but they had
to have him in it because he was peaked in the NBA, so they were all of his
height. That was his height.
Uh-huh.
I never realized that he was the voice of Master Croc in Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought that was very obvious.
Look, I've only seen Kung Fu Panda 2 and 3 a handful of times together. So
You never saw
Yeah,
the
but
first
anyway.
still, like his voice is pretty.
he wasn't in the first one.
Uh.
Yeah, it's very distinctive, sure.
Oh
But
yeah, he's not in the first one.
Uh-uh.
Listen, I've only seen each one of them maybe once, so I don't remember.
I've
just
seen the
remember-
first one a handful of times, but I've seen the second one once, and is the third one the one?
with his
Yeah,
dad, yeah.
I haven't seen that one all the way through yet.
So
Yeah.
so Hard Target was in '93. Timecop was first, and then Street Fighter. Street Fighter came after. I thought it was before. Sorry. Then
That makes
Sudden Death
sense.
in '95.
Yeah.
Double Maximum Risk in '96. The Quest in '96. Double Team in '97. Knockoff in '98. Legionnaire in '98. Universal Soldier: The Return. In
Oh, that
99.
was like a huge fucking movie. Universal Soldier. Oh wait, The Return. Is that the
first
sequel?
The
one.
Return.
That's a
Yeah.
sequel. That's 7 years
Is that
later.
the one with Goldberg? I think that's got. Bill-
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah.
Inferno '99.
They have a fight
it's a
scene.
video. Replicant. The Order. Derailed. In Hell. Las Vegas. Yeah, it's just kind of all of these I haven't heard of until we get to obviously Kung Fu Panda, like I said. Expendables 2. That's
Yeah.
that was 2012.
It's From Hell or In Hell? No, In Hell.
I lost it. In Hell. In
In Hell
2003.
and From Hell are.
From Hell was like a Johnny Depp movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. Is written by Alan Moore.
It's from an Alan Moore comic. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because I saw the comic when the movie was first coming out at a Walden Books. They had like the graphic novel, and my
I
mom
miss
was
Walden
standing
Books.
there, and I flipped it open, and there was immediately boobs on the page, and I panicked and like closed it really, really fast
Yeah.
because my mom was standing there. Yeah, I remember that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Anyways, back to Time Cop.
it's about Jack the Ripper, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes,
From
it
Hell,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, anyway, Time Cop. Look, this movie's fucking dope. Okay. We definitely got the meme count on this one because I forgot how many memes were in this movie that I bet you
Mhm.
nobody would have guessed this was the movie that they all came from.
That tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my first time ever watching this movie. I've never seen Time Cop.
This is
I
my
think
first time watching it also.
I have watched it once a very long time ago. So
Okay.
this was kind of like my first actual because I definitely wasn't paying attention until the boobs came on screen. Yeah, Ron, how did you? I mean, so as people will find out in a couple of months when you talk about My Bloody Valentine, your excitement for that particular run of movies over on the Getting Franchised thread. But how did you feel about the '90s sensual sex scene that we got?
So, while Jean-Claude Van Damme does have a nice ass, I did
It
not
is-
need so much camera work inside of it.
I disagree. I disagree, and here's why. That was
You don't think he has a nice ass?
no. I think he has too nice of an ass. I wondered for a moment if it was a prosthetic ass.
This is the movie that made Chuck gay.
I mean, this would make a lot of sense. It would have been right around that time that I saw it, for sure. Now this will, of course, score a tenth of a point more because we did get rock hard fake titties of the '90s in this, so that was a big score for
Ooh.
me there.
I've got
She does have
story on that
tasteful,
one.
nice titties, though. I mean,
Oh, they looked great. Areolas were on point. Like it was.
Yeah,
good
that's what I'm
stuff.
saying.
Yeah,
Like,
good
it wasn't like the
proportions.
ones where they're scary and they're pointing in 3 different directions and
Yeah. No inverted nipple, though. Never
Right?
complained. I never complained about inverted nipples, but what has this show fucking become? Sorry, Chris. Anyway,
Okay, so the 2 thugs in the mall, right? The ones that are up on the like the ones that are continuously following him or whatever. The dude that's got the like
two dudes who clearly stick out as not being
Yeah,
from this
but
time.
who the fuck is that guy? The bigger of the 2 dudes that was like wearing the boots because he looks like I feel like I've seen him in another movie, but I can't seem to figure out where it was from.
Let me see if I can find him in the cast.
He looks like the dude from Weird Science and from that other movie we watched, but he has hair in this. The weird face dude.
Bad thing is I don't know the dude's name.
I don't think he had a name. I think he was just like henchman number 1.
Well, yeah, but they actually had names, but they never said their names. That's the problem.
Because
gotcha. looking up here,
yeah,
that it has names for everybody. Like I know one of the guys, his name was Lansing,
but
I don't remember saying Lansing ever.
More importantly, to that point, like, how did those guys not like? He sensed the dude stealing the purse, but those guys didn't register as like something worrisome to him.
He saw them. He saw them on the walkway, and then
I know, but then he just ignored them.
Well, no, he turned around and like double checked, and then they were gone. So he's like, "Oh, don't gotta worry about them."
That's what I'm saying. He ignored them. Like the kid, he saw the dude with the skates, like, and he's like, "Oh, hold on a second," and like walks over there and like the whole thing with his boot and like read between the lines.
So dumb.
So dumb. Unless he actually
that was a genius fucking dope line. He has just the sickest like fucking stance, only inches away from his nose. He could have killed that kid, and he chose not to. He held back. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's because he's not a real cop.
Didn't rip his pants. Nothing.
Well, he was off duty.
See, that's another question. What the fuck? Those are not denim. Okay?
No,
denim does not stretch like that.
Definitely. See, he went into the future to like 2010 and got the jean spandex blend pants from Hot Topic, like skinny jeans, and then came back to 1994 and wore them.
What if the reason we have those today is because Jean-Claude Van Damme had them specially made for him back in the 90s?
I hope so. I hope that's the case. Thank you, Mr. Van Damme. You defined my college aesthetic. I appreciate you greatly. I still have those pants because they're so durable. Constantly doing karate. I wish I could.
I mean, he's also able to do the splits in his pants, so that does say something about his pants being like pretty durable.
Almost fell out.
He almost fell out. Wow.
Wow! Put your dick away, Chuck.
Of my chair when we. Yeah, I almost.
Yep.
God damn it! I was fucking crooning too. I almost fell out of my chair when I. Are we back? Am I back?
Yeah.
Now? Okay.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
I almost fell out of my chair when I realized that this is the movie that he does the split onto the counter and his ass jiggles independently from his body for at least 7.5 seconds, and I'm just like, that man. That is not a real ass. I refuse to believe it's his real ass at this point.
Maybe he's got ass plants.
Is it like in his contract that he has to do all of these sick kicks and sick splits? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that in every movie he's in, he has to do the splits.
Well, I mean,
it's the 90s.
He didn't look. Movie. He did not learn how to do the splits to not put it in a movie. All right, like
he did not have his scrotum removed, so he could not do kicks. All right.
Okay. All right.
That actually does make sense. That's why the jeans don't hurt him every time he spreads his legs.
Exactly. Canon. I said it on the show. So
that's true.
Until Jean-Claude Van Damme comes onto this show and hangs brain, we will assume that he has no scrotum.
I don't know if
that sounds like a challenge. You need to tag him in the comments.
One of my favorite things during COVID was that Jean-Claude Van Damme would go live on TikTok for whatever reason and would be very intoxicated, just trying to talk to fans.
Was he still brown bagging the booze like he did in this movie? Sitting on his couch, brown bagging his bottle of alcohol?
Yeah, why are you brown bagging the alcohol in your own house? That is the sign of alcoholism, sir.
Felt ashamed.
No, he was drinking it like he was drinking like whiskey over ice from a glass, like, and he had sunglasses on because he had a big giant like light that lit him up, and he would just get fucking obliterated drunk while trying to talk to fans that were typing, and then he would just start dancing.
That sounds that tracks.
Yeah, and then he would probably say something inappropriate, and then the next day on his like or maybe it was Instagram, because on his Instagram story he'd write an apology for whatever it was that he said the night before. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That tracks.
Yeah.
I love it.
Shut up.
So back to the story, right? These thugs that sorry, I just realized that my phone did not charge as much as I needed it to charge.
Oh, so you need
So I'm trying to move things along a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I
No,
got
this
it.
was a bad movie to choose that to do
I
that.
know, right? It should be fine though. Like it was at like 60% when I unplugged it,
Okay.
so I'll probably be good. If it starts getting low, I'll be like, "Hey guys," and I'll just drop my score shit. But he gets like his house gets blown up or whatever, or they get like his wife gets like attacked. He gets attacked. Why is it that every time somebody gets shot with Kevlar, they rip their shirt open to show that they have the Kevlar? Every time.
He needed to make sure that it didn't go through and hit him. So he has to open up and make sure the bullets got stopped by the Kevlar. By the bulletproof vest.
Sure. But also, like, then everybody knows you have the Kevlar and they're going to shoot you in the head.
Here's the thing. The fact that, and it even gets addressed later on when they come back to try and kill him again. Had they killed him the first time, like when they started out here and they killed him, then they wouldn't have had to have gone back to kill him, because he wouldn't have been in their way to be stopping them from getting all the riches that they want, the center of the riches that he wanted to become president. But that also becomes a paradox, because he is like because he'd be just the best one there. So if he was already dead, they wouldn't be whatever. Time travel.
Somebody else would have been the person that was taking his place if he would have died.
Maybe, but not necessarily.
Or yeah, I guess maybe not.
Because what his partner there at the beginning says that McComb owned half of the force.
That's true.
So, which I definitely did assume that his boss was on the take,
because he looks like the kind of guy that would be on the take.
Well, that guy, that actor, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And he does go back and forth. Like sometimes he's a great guy, like he is this one. Sometimes he is the asshole who is just like, no, I'm good, but you're going to trust me. And it turns out that I actually was a bad guy. Like he was
the last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout, Reacher, although I didn't trust him from the beginning in Reacher, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so
he's in The Bear. That's where I know him from.
I
know him from a lot of other stuff, but I realized he plays the investor in The Bear. Highly recommend it. He's very good.
He's a great actor. I do like him. He's a really good actor, really solid. But my point is, at the very end, when the guys come back and McComb is telling his boys to go kill the older, Walker, and he's like, "Yeah, we already shot him. He's dead." And the senator's like, "If he was dead, this one wouldn't be here, you moron. Go kill him." I
did enjoy that they broke that little well, he wouldn't so fucking be here if you killed him, so go kill him.
And they made the parent, because when Walker kicks the younger McComb in the face, gets that scar, and that scar pops up immediately on the future, whatever McComb.
Correct.
So it was a pretty quick transition of, if he was actually dead, Walker would have been
gone.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. I also enjoy the concept of that two matters can't exist in the same space or whatever.
That's why matter can't exist in the same space.
Yeah. Which we then for the end get to see where they got the idea for the blood from Blade dripping down, because it looked exactly the same. So 4 or 5 years later they used the same graphics.
Yeah, Blade was 98.
Yeah,
right?
99, I thought.
98, 99. So it's not very far off.
No, yeah.
And it looks exactly the same.
Although one of the things on IMDb, they said that scientifically, they would have been fine if they had touched each other, because your cells, nothing in your body is the same after 10 years. I've always been told after 7 years, your skin is actually new skin than it was 7 years prior, because the skin cells are dying and all that. But also, like, all the water and all the food that he digests, like, it's going through his body quickly. Everything gets flushed out. So technically, they would have been fine touching hands
as long as their teeth didn't touch,
yeah,
or their bones, I guess.
the bones would have been, I guess, the same bone. It's just growing. Yeah, I don't know. Science stuff.
So you can't make out with yourself in the past because you might clink teeth and
yeah, do teeth stuff. That's a shame. Love doing teeth. Something I love more than hot passionate
stuff.
You smash your fucking teeth together mid coitus.
I have a chipped tooth. Just a little chip, because I went to kiss Charity one time and she had went to move forward and hit teeth together and fucking knocked a whole chunk out of my tooth.
Yeah, yeah, that's a move.
It's a little rough.
Something about teeth smashing that just fucking makes me so limp. I don't know what it is.
So speaking of terrible things, the knife fight that they had, right, in like his apartment or whatever, when they came in to kill him, the second time, that was the dumbest fight. Like, especially when after he drops the knife, he just kicks the shit out of him. It's like, just because you have a knife doesn't mean you have to use the knife, right?
No, you
hold the knife, kick the shit out of him.
Chekhov knife, like, it's right there in his hand. He has to try and use it.
But then, going back to Chuck's wet dream of the jiggly ass on the counter, that dude gets electrocuted through his shoes in water that's this deep.
Fine.
They weren't rubber soled.
Oh, okay.
They might have been steel tipped or steel toed.
Yeah, or like some type of futuristic foam. What if they were Crocs? Okay. What if he was just wearing Crocs the whole time?
Idiocracy.
Then he would have been protected because they're kind of like rubber. So
I don't know. I think they're foam. I think they're foam with plastic coating on the outside.
Are they? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything rubber. I think they're all plastic technically.
But either way, also there was a whole fucking lot of water inside of that jug, that Culligan jug that he had up there.
I think he had just replaced it.
Oh, okay.
He had, because he's like, I'm drinking all this whiskey out of a brown bag. I need water to help, flush my system out. Yeah.
so he can be ready for work the next day.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to go back to earlier, the first fight he had in the past when he's going to attack his or capture his ex-partner. And you got the two guards that come in. One of them was like, he went 10 rounds with whatever boxer at the time, and then Jean-Claude or Walker just like kicks him in the face and knocks his ass out, which is pretty funny. Or punches him. I don't know, whatever. He knocks his.
Yeah, I watched that fight on TV or whatever. Like,
and then the other guy who can't land a punch to save his life. Every time he throws, Jean-Claude's deflecting and then like jabbing him. So the guy decides to put on brass knuckles because that's really going to help you out.
Well, he also picks up a lamp to try to beat him with. So I mean, like,
there was at one
they were
point,
doing their best, Joey. Okay.
There was at one point a fight scene where Jean-Claude does some type of like Krav Maga reversal, and it is the stupidest thing I'd ever seen. And yeah, I was just like, he's so fucking cool. Like, look at this maneuver. Look at this maneuver where he like disarm somebody with his with a leg or something. He does something like crazy stupid, and I'm just like, he's the coolest dude ever. He's like, oh, if I could just have gotten a fight scene between peak Van Damme and like peak Schwarzenegger. That's what I want. Finesse versus brawn.
We got a little bit, not peak, obviously, but we got that in Expendables 2.
It's not the same.
It's not.
So, Simon pointed out while we were watching this that this is where Elon Musk got the idea for the Cybertruck, because those vehicles that they drive,
they look
like a cooler version of the Cybertruck.
They look like rejected GI Joe transport vehicles.
Yeah,
100%.
they look like they just found like an abandoned 88 Toyota Corolla and then just glued a bunch of bullshit to the outside of it to make it look futuristic, which by the way, in the future of 2004, which is like wild to think.
Only 10 years. They thought in 10 years we're going to be that advanced.
I mean, we probably should have been.
Sure.
Yeah, but like other than
then 9/11 happened,
okay, so it's like
changed.
2025, and I guess we do technically have cars that drive themselves. We have those taxis in like fairly big cities that almost get into accidents on a regular basis.
Yeah, but we had that. That became a thing. What 2022, 23?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so like that's still 20 almost 20 years after when they thought. That's the one.
Yeah, but they also had time travel in 1994. So,
well, yeah, fair. That's fair.
Yeah, they figured it out in 1994, and were like actively doing it. Yeah, how they were like, look, this dude figured it out. He figured out time travel, and if it gets into the wrong hands, we are fucked. So we need to just like create a department, and then it does get into the wrong hands, and therefore they needed the department.
Right, like who looked at that senator and was like, "That guy's trustworthy. We should let him do this."
The other senator, and
even the other senator said he's a shark just like you, but he's got a bigger fin.
Yeah, but he still said, "Yeah, go ahead." He didn't give two shits.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who thought it was a good idea to give this guy access?
That senator, because he didn't care. And the president's aide, apparently.
He did have a good point, though, that they should have just gone back in time and killed the guy who came up with the idea, and then it would have never been discovered.
Sure.
True.
Yeah. I mean, now that he's made all of his money. But then what would that have solved? Because this whole thing was like, this department costs us too much money to go back and correct things that have happened in time. What if we just took away the ability to do that? But then he also wouldn't be the senator anymore because he would have essentially rewritten his own future.
Exactly.
See, I think he was actually not. I know he said to go back and kill the guy, but I think he was just trying to consolidate and dismantle the time cops in general, while he still had the prototype tucked away in the one
Maryland.
Maryland. I thought it was Jersey. You know, the place no one goes
to. But either way, how in the hell did that thing never ever pop up on anybody's radar? Because that thing would be pulling so much juice all the time, every time he used it, that like I don't care what kind of electric grid you have. The one that they had made for that was like in their little bunker area or whatever.
Yeah.
That would have had a special power grid of its own, right? The prototype would have been running off of a regular power grid that would have just sucked all the power out of every time they used it, and nobody else would have had power. They would have had blackouts every time.
Well, and I'm wondering if he did it sparingly in the beginning, like do it to a sense of like, hey, blackouts will happen, just be aware. Oh, look, a blackout happens. It'll come back in 12 hours or something. So like he only did it like once a year or once every 4 months to go back, get what ever money he needed, while still hiding enough, hiding from the time cops so that they don't come after him, up until the time when he actually said, you know, hey, I need to go back to my elder self and stop him from taking this check, which should have been his first go, not his last go.
No shit.
But I don't know.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Also when Fields comes into it, the internal affairs girl.
Fielding. Yeah.
Yeah. Fielding? Yeah, maybe it was Fielding. She looks familiar, first off. But also, like, she says to him, you know, you don't know anything about me, blah, blah, and then, like, launches into her whole, like, 6-second backstory, telling him all the important parts of her life up to that point. And he basically he's like, yeah, why do I care about any of this?
I mean, it was important to him. He learned about it so that when she was in the hospital, he can come to her and say happy birthday. Let's go
That's
take
true.
down the comb. And
then
then
left her there to die.
Well, yeah. Although it was very convenient that she wasn't dead until after he turned her head. Just like that's
yeah. As somebody who's had to deal with those machines, I can tell you the thing would have been fucking going off constantly. The second she was injected, that thing would have gone off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact that nurse jumps up to try and stop him when he first walks up, he's like, "Hey, I'm a cop." He pulls out his badge, and she's like, "Oh, okay, fine, whatever." But then, what did the other two flash? Because they're not time cops. But yeah,
maybe they
in there.
Yeah, they got right into her room and then teleported right out of her room. Apparently,
yeah, without this nurse knowing, who was still out, sitting out there when the she flatlined, and immediately was in there dogging him on what did you do?
Right, he walked out of the room. He walked out of the room, and she saw him walk out the room, and then walks back in, and he's on the other side of the bed from where the injection thing is. And she immediately runs in, and she's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And it's, of course, it's just like hanging there, like this, like, here's this completely obvious thing of what happened. And she's just like, it's clearly him. He was, you just saw him out of the room. There was no time for him to do this.
Yeah.
Justice for Van Damme. That was ridiculous.
No one else was ridiculous. Him sticking his gum on the ride like he was the fucking Rocketeer.
Rocketeer? I said the same fucking thing. I was like, oh, I guess we're doing a Rocketeer reference. Which
Apparently,
came out
that gum?
No, 93 that came
before
out?
This. 92 or 93, yeah.
What brand of gum was that?
It was Black, which was apparently, I think it was Black. I don't know. It was a Japanese gum that I'm not going to say had a sponsorship for, but he had did a commercial for.
That would make sense.
So that's why he had the gum.
Yeah, that would make sense. He probably got royalties or some shit for it. So
good chance.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a real gum. I wasn't sure if it was just like something they made or like for the movie, but of course it is.
It's gotta be product to get money from.
Yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta have that product placement. Which would make sense because this was the 90s, which would have been right peak of us just now finding out that celebrities go over to
Japan to do commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna say?
I think that's what he was gonna say.
Japan to do weird and then
got it right. Good job.
And then they go to Japan and they go to Japan and they make crazy commercials.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that didn't stop. I don't think they're not doing as much anymore, but like even the early 2000s, I remember a few of those coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, they probably do it regularly still.
I'm sure they might, depending on the celebrity, but
a lot of the times I don't even realize that celebrities do them here. Like they're not over the top crazy, but the amount of voiceovers that celebrities do for commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. It doesn't even like register with me
nowadays, because it used to be that was a big thing if you got a celebrity to voice over a commercial. That was 80s, 90s. That was a big deal. 2000s, but it was also similarly, it was a big deal for a movie star to do a TV show. Those streams never crossed. And then you get into the 2000s when it's like you apparently to make more money, you got movie stars becoming TV stars. And because the goal is always start on TV, go to a movie, right? And now nowadays it's you get
just bounce back and forth, do whatever you want.
Well, yeah, but you get a bigger paycheck if you can get a streaming show.
True.
You know,
But that's just like a movie that's extended.
exactly.
But you also have to remember though, like the commercials back in the day, we had no choice but to listen to them or to watch them because, I mean, we're getting to that point again. Like fuck Disney Plus. First off, fuck you guys. Fuck every person that's ever fucking made a decision on that fucking piece of shit. Also, fuck everybody on Prime. Fuck you guys because having to pay for a service and still listen to fucking commercials. Fuck you guys. All right. Fuck you guys. I hope you all fucking get stubbed toes and gonorrhea.
We have entered the
Patreon.com/professional casual.
I think he. Oh no, he didn't freeze.
No, I didn't.
We just all broke.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We got
Okay.
it. We got it.
Never interrupt me when I'm talking to myself, okay?
Yeah.
My apologies.
So dumb.
Oh shit.
Oh man. So
So in that, okay, they're in that warehouse where like he's talking to his younger self, telling him not to buy the or not to take the check or whatever, right?
yeah.
And this is a place where they make computer chips, right?
Allegedly, yes.
Like that's what he's okay. Why were there like 20,000 gallons of flammable liquid in there?
You got.
And then my second question: why, in a gunfight, would the first place you go to try to hide be behind barrels of flammable liquid?
When
like,
he is going up on the crane behind the barrels, and the guy's shooting at him, and there's a giant sign that says "flammable liquid," and behind you is a bunch of barrels that just got shot and starts a fire. Like,
also, that's not how a forklift works. You have to have weight on the seat to get the thing to go.
That was a 1980s forklift.
Yeah,
in that case,
OSHA didn't exist then. Like
in that case, he would have had to have started it up because it would have been propane powered.
Yeah, there was not a propane tank on the back.
Huh? And those ones were all clutch.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
I've driven them all, so
listen, that's again, his genes allow him to stretch and carefully.
Had to press the clutch with his dick. Got it.
Oh, I love it.
His ass? No, he does it with his ass. You see that ass?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he can jiggle his cheeks independently and hit the clutch.
So you brought up the nude scene with the virtual reality earlier.
Oh, actually, I thought we were talking about.
I was talking about the
him and his wife.
Sensual love scene. Yeah.
Oh,
that's the one I was talking about. I forgot that there was a virtual reality one. I was like,
no. Then there's the virtual reality because he's like, if I find you fucking this computer again.
Yeah.
So
okay, like, look, we all jerked off at work at least once, but who does it in his office when there's other people around? Also, why did that thing look like an Oculus? Like, did they really jump into the future? Like, what the fuck?
Makes you kind of wonder, doesn't it?
A little bit.
So, okay, well then, for the previous scene with the actual sex scene, apparently that was, when it originally came out, that was censored. They took out a giant chunk of that scene when it first came to home release. That and later on when Walker takes the gun and instead of actually using it as a gun, he like punches the one guy with it constantly. They cut that scene down a little bit as well. Obviously, when they got restored to DVD and digital, they brought it back. But no, so the virtual reality one, apparently that scene was originally supposed to be a nature documentary about beavers.
I mean, it kind of was.
A little bit. However, the off-site film team got drunk on the evening of shooting and ended up in a strip bar. The next morning, they woke up realizing they had missed the bus to the nature reserve and had to instead film one of the dancers they had met in the club the night before.
Shucks.
Yo, how the fuck do you go back to like the person in charge and be like, look, we know what we were supposed to film, but we got this instead. and we definitely totally have consent for it, and everything.
Well, they
is
paid
fine.
for it. They definitely
True.
paid for that.
Also, don't know if she. I'm gonna guess was an exotic dancer of some sort. Worst hand job I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, what was that? What was that? Like grabbing with both hands. Like, this is not a thing. This was not a thing. The way she was grabbing is not a thing. And if it was, blessings be to that man's penis because it got just wrecked. All right, that was fucking weird.
She was getting ready to give him the Heinz 57.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh.
That's great.
So when he comes back after like the pass gets erased or whatever, and the senator's like in charge of everything, and Makito, whatever his boss,
yeah. His boss. I don't remember.
Yeah,
his name.
Macklemore or whatever. He's like, so we were best friends, huh? And he's like, talk to him. He's like, was I your only friend? I'm just like, yeah. I mean, yeah. And
I feel like as soon as he said that I've been to your house numerous times and your wife's casserole or goulash is a little salty.
Had it 1,000 times, it's a little salty.
I think that's when he realized, oh yeah, no, he's actually
this dude is.
Yeah.
Okay, but realistically, the saddest part of this movie is when he comes back after Macomb dies, like gets turned into the goop that Blade borrows. He goes back, right, to a wife and a 10-year-old child, has no recollection of anything that's happened over the past 10 years.
Yeah, that he does not know that child. That child is developed and fully grown. But that
doesn't make any sense because much like Senator Macomb's scar, everything that happened over that 10 years would have instantly blasted through his brain.
Like, yet he is surprised to see the kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he knew she was pregnant too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, like a whole 10 years of everything.
I was convinced that he was actually surprised because he's an amazing actor. You know what I mean? So he really sold the level of surprise. Yes, Joey, he's the second greatest actor of all time, right behind Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
I will die on. This is the hill that I will die on this show.
That's fair. That is fair. I did have a fun little note here that it was a smart idea for. I was gonna say Sarah. What's her name?
Which one?
His wife.
Sarah.
Is it Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or was that from the other movies we watched?
From the other movies. Melissa. There we go.
Melissa. Yeah.
I'm like, Sarah didn't sound right. Anyway,
I won't lie. I watched Thor
Ragnarok. What did you watch?
I mean, I'm sure he's gonna say all three in the same day. So
3 movies in the span of 20.
Yeah. I did. Yes, Chuck. I did the same thing. I watched all 3 in the same day. So I also.
They all started to blur together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Melissa is trying to run from all the guys being shot, she climbs up on the roof and grabs a hold of the antenna
in a
during
thunderstorm.
A lightning storm.
Good
idea.
Look, nobody said she was smart. Okay,
I know she was stupid hot, Joey. A woman of the '90s. She was super hot, so obviously she was dumber than hell. Obviously.
Yeah.
Look, she cut school too many times with Ferris Bueller. All right, so she didn't learn anything.
Here's the funny thing, because it's been forever since I've seen Ferris Bueller. Like it's been, I don't know. I think the last time I actually watched it was sometime in the 90s. I recognize her from Birds of Prey, the TV show, because she was Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey.
I didn't know there was a Birds of Prey TV show.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It only went 1 season.
Who played the other characters?
So she actually played Harleen Quinzel, the psychiatrist, who was the psychiatrist to Helena Wayne, Batman and Catwoman's daughter, played by Ashley Scott. Very hot. Barbara Gordon was in it. She was in the wheelchair. She was more Oracle than Batgirl, obviously. And I can't remember Dinah Meyer, the redhead from Starship Troopers was in it. That she plays Barbara Gordon.
When did this come out?
Rizzo?
2002? Was it Rizzo? I don't remember. Is that who it was? The one that
The curly haired one.
Yes.
Gets
the one
killed?
that what's his name hooks up with after leaving
And
Denise
she
Richards.
gets impaled with a
Yeah,
that's Rizzo. Yeah, that's Rizzo.
Okay. And then there was
Stupid
Canary
hot. So stupid hot. Are we gonna watch
I might
that?
have to check this show out.
There are cartoons. There's a comic. You watch Star Troopers?
We'll see.
For Ron, do it for Ron.
Do it for
Do it
Ron.
with a full frontal nudity, both male and female, for Ron.
I don't think you get full frontal. I know you get chest up. Do you see peen?
Oh yeah, it was the first time I've ever seen an adult male penis in my entire life. Yes.
Okay.
At least the theatrical cut that I saw, there was definite brain.
So it's theatrically cut.
Yes. Yep.
Any hoozle. That's all my notes.
That's all my notes.
Yeah.
I don't take notes, so
You
that's
do
all my
not.
notes. That's true. I just try
I
to
saw
remember.
Chuck looking at a notebook when we were recording this morning, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but getting franchise.
Well, that's because getting franchise. I actually have to do a little research, and by that I mean I tell a chatbot to write my notes for me. It's pretty easy, honestly.
I love that.
That's why it's
Oh,
well
shit.
articulated.
All right, so we had one lost limb. Guy's arm frozen. Then Jean-Claude kicked it off.
That looked that looked ridiculous.
It did not look great. And we had 17 kills.
Damn.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Still less than Batman.
way less than Batman.
In a movie where they had to actually kill people to prevent things from happening.
Yeah.
Well, you would say that so his ex-partner, who would not go back, because if he goes back, Macomb would kill him and his family, throws himself out the window to kill himself. Jean-Claude or Walker jumps out, grabs him, saves him, brings him back to the future, and he gets put in front of a judge, jury, whatever. And they're like, all right, so immediate death. And then they send him back to the past
To finish the fall.
where he was. Like, okay.
They probably did that so that they didn't have to deal with the paperwork of him dying.
Possible.
And he decided to do it that way because he knew that only he would die and they wouldn't kill his family too.
Well, I get that. I get why he sacrificed himself so his family could live. What I don't get is why they sent him back to die there like that instead of just...
So they don't
Take a
create
gun
a
out and
time
shoot
paradox because they did see somebody fall out a window.
Yeah,
They
that's
saw
true.
2 people fall out the window.
But
And
they
only
probably could
one
only see
fell.
one from up there.
More importantly, they send him back, but not in the correct spot because they all they included it like at some sort of time lapse because the very Irish police officer was acting like this, like there was a difference of like, oh, we saw this person disappear and then magically they showed back up.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense.
So, anywho, what you got for bingo, Ron?
All right, so we've got product placement, nudity, dying mentor, responsibility thing, government interference, comic book logic, betrayal by a friend, actor plays self, unexplainable science, villain monologue, reformed bad guy, hero kills, sexual innuendo, fight for control of something, and meme origin.
15. Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of memes, like which memes were in this one? Do you guys remember? Because I don't.
The jumping on the counter is the one I send that gift to a lot of people.
Okay.
So like I know that one's a big meme. Like it was a big meme for a long time. Mainly you used it when you were trying to dodge your responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's also one where it's got to be from this movie because it's Jean-Claude with like the quasi mullet. I can't think of what the fuck it is, but I've seen it a handful of times because it's one of the lines he says in here. But I didn't have time to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chuck Von Cape.
Oh, this movie is trash. It doesn't look great. The portal jump looked fine. Like that looked okay.
Decent at best. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still 94.
Although the
but
portal jump doesn't make any sense.
no,
They
it doesn't.
fly at the wall in that machine, right?
Which okay.
They get flung into the future. The machine, what happens to it? And then how do they end up
And
back
then why
there?
did they come back in it? That's what doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I'll give them the like it teleports them and then they just opens a portal and drops them.
Like
Whatever.
if it would have started and then flung them out of the machine towards that wall, that would have made sense and been hilarious because it would have explained the twins.
Right. Because them crashing would have destroyed the whole wall. They would have rebuilt the wall.
Yeah.
I love how they were just like, oh, what were the twins' names? I forget the twins' names. The something brothers.
I don't know.
Palmer brothers, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, and there's and Walker is constantly being like, well, what happened to him? And like very serious, like won't like Jean-Claude will not tell her.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and then finally he's just like, you see those two red splatters on the wall? That was them. And she immediately just was like, oh my god, this is the worst. It's like it's so bad. It was so stupidly bad put together because I think it was meant to be comedy, but it comes off just
as an
mean?
asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes off mean. Like it's not funny. It's just kind of mean. Like I don't know. Anyway, but real quick though, Joey, you had an interesting piece of information about this movie.
Yes. Let me pull that up because I was out of that. Let's see.
About trains.
I don't. Okay. Hold on. I'm bringing it up now. Okay. So this is the second film starring Jean-Claude Van Damme to be released by Universal in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
The other, the video game adaptation of Street Fighter, that also co-starred the late Raul Julia, was released 3 months after this film on Christmas Day and had a successful run at the box office. Street Fighter also starred Kylie Minogue, who once sang a song about trains.
Right.
Like,
okay.
The bad thing is, I understand that IMDb is like these trivias are put in there by people who are like signed into the website.
Sure. But
this
why?
Movie has,
why?
But this movie has a train.
No, it has a little box car,
Joey,
on a track.
What is a train? It's a box on tracks that goes in one direction to carry things.
This is a monorail. No. That's a monorail.
No.
No, a monorail only has one rail.
Yeah.
A monorail has one rail.
Rack.
No, it had two.
Did it?
I don't know. Regardless, Chuck, give us a goddamn spawn cave.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Peace.
It had two rails. You should have seen the face that Joey made when it froze. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Damn,
Joey's face when it froze was just this confused and kind of yelling at Ron. It was weird. Yeah, it had two. It had two rails.
Okay, if it had two, then I apologize.
Yeah,
I thought it had one.
I feel like you got to play loose the rules with the word train anyway. Like technically, a monorail is still a train. It's on a track.
Yeah, but it's
Also, isn't a monorail above?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. It's on the ground. It's underneath.
Like the yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, I don't know. 1 out of 7.
Okay.
Spawn Games. I thought,
Oh.
you know what looked the worst? Not even the part where they bled, where when they became the same matter, because that just looked like Blade. It was when the dude got frozen.
Yeah,
Right.
Frozen. That
Yes.
looked really bad.
that
That
was
looked
pretty
like
That was
atrocious.
bad.
that looked like
when-
94 chrome metal. It was the only thing I could like think of.
when both the McCombs were in the same scene. Like when
Yes.
both
One of them was like gray.
yeah, and they both were looking at the wrong spot. Whoever had their the bad thing is that they had a stand-in there, like their stunt double was in at the other spot, and it's still their eye line was still off the entire time.
It's
So.
probably a woman.
So we did have a boob count in this one.
Mhm, Yep.
Yeah.
We had a boob count of 6, and that's because I counted Jean-Claude's pecs also.
That's fair.
Oh. Wait,
fair.
no, there should be more. There should be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because there are 2 photos of
Oh,
sexy robot women on the computer.
Nope, because see, we've already
No,
talked about this.
if we count droids in deaths, then we are
Joey
counting,
counts droids in death.
then we count robot titties, young man.
No, because they're pictures. And if they're pictures, all of
counted
them only
that.
count as 1. So I will give you
But they were
7
separate
boobs.
pictures.
It doesn't matter.
we've
When they
we've
were
had
when they were
pictures before,
boobs
though.
up in the aliens, I only counted as 1. The boobs in
What about number 2?
they weren't naked boobs. But the boobs
That's like
in Weird Science that they had in the videos, or in the pictures that were all over the place when they were trying to make their perfect woman, I also only counted those as 1. So I will allow 7 for the boob count for that, but no more.
Okay, as long as we're consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Speaking of consistency, not a Muppet.
Oh,
It's
shit.
obviously it's got to be Jean-Claude Van Damme because then he fucks a Muppet.
Like
He'd
Okay.
also be beating the
I was-
shit out of Muppets and getting the shit kicked out of him by Muppets.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking Jean Claude's a good one. I was also thinking McComb because the future McComb. Because it'd be kind of funny for young
Him to start as a Muppet and then
Yeah, and then become human.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Works.
fair.
Either one works.
It would get really confusing and complicated, but I think it would be really funny. Is if it is in 2004, Van Damme and Walker are Muppets and everybody else is a human. But the second that they time
Van Damme is
travel,
Walker.
no, his partner Walker, the girl.
No, his partner was
Fielding.
Fielding.
Oh, Fielding. Okay, my apologies. If Van Damme and Fielding teleport to anywhere else in time, they become human and everybody else becomes a Muppet.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
then every time you jump, you stay whatever you were. So then like past Senator then becomes a Muppet when he comes to the future. Mainly because I want to see what happens when you smash one Muppet and one human person together in that like
Sure.
weird blood matter thing. Yeah.
It's Fuzz that gets soaked in blood and then just
And then we get real Van Damme and Muppet Van Damme.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that would
Yeah.
be fair.
That would be sweet.
Uh,
So
Do you think
2004
Yeah,
Muppet Van Damme
anyway.
ass jiggles independently?
everybody that listens to this show needs to vote on the best not a Muppet. I know we talked about it the first time, but I really feel like we need to get opinions on who's the best not a Muppet.
That's true. Yeah, we really do. It's me. It's fine.
Yeah, that means I
Chris,
have to
vote
actually
for
do
me.
work.
Chris, vote for me.
Chuck, what's your score?
Okay, look, this is a movie made for me. This was a Charlie pick for sure. It's stupid.
That's because Joe needed to get rid of the
the strike that he got
strike you
last
gave him.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super fair. I do have to set a rule. I guess I will say Joey will also get a strike cleared if I like a movie and it's above an 8. That's what I'll say. If it's above an 8 in my score, then I'll clear a strike.
Okay.
An 8.5 8.51 actually specifically. So this was because it
Wait,
has
that's
to
what
be-
you're giving this, or that's
no.
That's
That's
the
the
rule.
score to clear a strike.
Oh, okay.
If I give an 8.51, Joey gets to clear a score. I love this movie. I would happily put this on during
Yeah,
a
I was gonna
holiday
say.
gathering, and we would all make fun of it and watch Van Damme's ass jiggle like a motherfucker.
Just
It's
repeat that scene?
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, just loop. You know what? I would find a YouTube cut and then make Tim watch it for 4 hours unknowingly. You know what I mean? Like he did to me in Daft Punk.
just set it as his background on his computer.
Oh, that's an idea. Yeah, that's good. This is exactly what I love. It's silliness. It's over the top. It's all action. It's Van Damme being Van Damme. It looked awesome. It looked like a dystopian, awesome thing from the 90s. I'm gonna say an 8.62.
Damn.
Nice.
I really enjoyed this movie.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it.
So I'll clear your strike from last week. See, you have to be strategic about this, Joey. Every time we watch a Star Trek movie, you have to give me something good afterwards.
I was just looking at the list and trying to do some quick math in my head, and I think there might be one or two that are not going to be good. But the way I see it, you said that I have to clear. You have to clear 8.51.
That's true.
To get a strike cleared, but you also were pretty happy about this. So technically, I should have 2 strikes. Right?
No,
I actually have one in reserve.
No. Just if it clears an 8.51, I'll clear a strike. And you don't get to piggy bank your clears.
Damn it!
All right, so be more strategic about this.
I can't.
It's like negotiating with my students. Like, no, it's my fucking rules. We're doing it my way.
I had to try. All right, Ron, what do you got?
All right, so I also actually like this movie. It had a pretty decent plot. It had an okay story to it. Like it actually progressed as a story should.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They stuck to a lot of guns, and the end scene where things still lined up with the beginning of the movie for the most part. Like as far as him getting knocked out when he walks out the door, and he doesn't obviously get knocked out this time because the guys aren't there, but like the house still blows up. She's still in the window with the other dude, seeing him get shot by the other guys and all that shit. He still gets shot with the Kevlar, but like it was pretty good, and it had boobs in it, so automatically it gets an extra point for that. But I gave it a 7.43. Because again, I would also watch this movie again. Technically, I watched it twice this week because I fell asleep when I was watching it the first time. In my defense, though, I was on the couch. I was being cuddled up to. I was under a blanket. I was nice and cozy warm. And, so,
That makes sense. I get tired
Joey.
after I get cozied up.
I feel bad, sort of. This was a fine movie. Like it was okay watching. I had fine time watching it. But I don't have the Jean-Claude love that you two have, I guess. Because I did get kind of bored while I was watching it, and that's when I started looking up.
Were you watching it by yourself?
I was.
No, see, I didn't watch it by myself either time.
At a holiday
yeah,
movie.
you should have. You should have invited friends over.
Having somebody else to like talk back and forth and joke with, like the Cybertruck thing, that was all Simon. Because Simon was like, "Those look like Cybertrucks." Like,
no,
that was what, Simon? Oh, my bad. It was Alfie, not Simon.
Okay.
So my apologies to Alfie because she actually does listen. So,
I did, like when I went and saw Bloodshot in theaters with friends, and we made fun of it in theaters the entire time.
What the fuck is Bloodshot?
It's a Vin Diesel movie, comic book based movie. I will agree. Watching a movie with people can definitely benefit and make the movie better or not. So yes, in theory, watching at a holiday party would be beneficial. It might make my enjoyment of this movie better, but I did not watch it with a bunch of people. I watched it by myself. And that being said, I gave the score a 5.32. I would watch this again, but I would not put it on myself. I'd watch it with, if a friend wanted to watch it, said they haven't seen it before, I'd put it on with them and watch it with them. So, yeah.
All right.
But
we'll remember this. Ron and I will
know you
remember
will.
this when we do Snyder films. Which, like, let's face it,
Really?
I don't have
Hold
any
on.
friends. I don't have any friends or loved ones that want to watch movies with me, so I'll be watching those alone, and my score will reflect that accordingly.
You say you'll remember that, but we are quite a ways away from a Snyder film. So
I think you're
I will never
underestimating how petty Chuck will get.
Yeah, I don't think you.
no.
I don't think you. Yeah, I don't think you know how just fucking petty I can be, sir. Like,
oh no, I do. I really
there's
do.
one thing I'm good at. It's holding a grudge. Okay.
That's fair. But that gives us a combined score of 7.12, which drops it in at number 39 out of 138 movies.
That is way too high for this movie. That's awesome. It's fucking awesome.
It's just behind X-Men, the first X-Men movie at a 7.13, and just above The Punisher from 2004 at a 7.1.
Honestly, yeah, I think I love all those movies as much as I love this movie. So
okay.
I'm happy with that. That tickles me. That's awesome. Holy shit. That's great.
The podcast has spoken. It is moved to its spot.
Oh, that's great. Did that crush you a little inside, Joe? You all right there, buddy?
I mean, looking at the list, like, I definitely enjoyed Punisher more than this. Tales from the Crypt. I mean, Revenge of the Sith is right there, so like as well. And you guys,
I don't know how that got that high of a score. Oh,
Jordan,
I know that's I was
like, I think Chuck liked that one too.
Alien. Whoa! I don't think I tanked that score. Let's get it right.
Look, liked and tanked is the same definition in my book.
Yeah, it's fair, I guess, especially for me.
Rocketeer, Guyver. Like this.
Yeah, they're all
Guyver was awesome.
They're all movies that I really loved, except for like maybe two. So that would make sense. When I love it, I score it absurdly high.
No, that's fine. It's fine. Fine.
Yeah, this is what happens when you make me watch movies I like, Joey. I don't know what to tell you. Give me shit movies, I guess.
Well, we'll see what the next one brings. But yeah, so there we go. Timecop in the bag.
Chuck, where can they find you at, buddy?
Hey, you can find me on the internet. And you can find me on Getting Franchise, which comes out at the end of every month now. Officially for free. You're welcome, everyone. We're giving you our art for free because fuck capitalism and fuck a network oligarchy. And, also, apparently his computer's just been broken. That's why nothing's been going up. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I was told.
That one.
Well, you would think he could get it fixed with none of the money that he pays us. So, you know what I mean?
You also think he could text us and let us know, hey, I couldn't put this up. No,
you think.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, the point
Having listened to the first episode of Getting Franchise, you guys should listen to it. Anybody listen to the show because it is great and it's a whole lot of fun.
It's on the feed.
It's a different vibe. I will say that much. It is a very different vibe.
Yeah.
I'm doing research. That's oof. Yeah, Chris, give it a listen. Anyway,
I think he did. He already has.
See, that's the thing is I have learned one fan's name, so now I can just target that one fan the entire time. Yeah, anyway, you can find me on the internet at Kicked Out of the Hood. I don't know where I am anymore because who knows. But Kicked Out of the Hood.
Kicked.
No Ian Kicked.
There you go.
Ronald, quickly before
all right.
Your phone dies.
Yeah, I'm sitting pretty good. I'm at 20% still, so we're all right. It hasn't turned red yet. You can
Yeah,
find
5
me
more.
on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. You can find my art at Good Art This Game on Instagram. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Good at This Game. You can find my art, but I don't give it away for free because Joey puts it on shirts on TeePublic and Redbubble. And yeah, there's probably other places. If you are on somewhere and you look up Good at This Game, you're probably going to find me. Joey, where can I find you?
Yeah, you guys can find the show on social media. It's Comic Book Rundown. Just search it. It's on there. Social media still sucks though, but I'm on there. Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. I'm on Discord as well. I think that one's Janero 51 though. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't remember.
That sounds right.
Email us, comicbookrundown@gmail.com. Rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. If you do, we'll read an upcoming episode. Ron already talked about the merch over in Redbubble and TeePublic, which I did update the Union Buster Xenomorph. Now it actually says Union Buster Xenomorph on it. Because I got a few looks when I wore it to work with a giant Xenomorph holding an anti-union sign at my union job. So, yes.
And you didn't explain it to him?
Oh no, I did. The ones that actually asked.
It's satirical, Joe.
No, once I explained it, they're like, "Oh yeah, no, that makes sense." Although Emily said that's a funny look, but either way,
you should wear it to your next strap store meeting.
We'll see. But what else we got? We got
what's our next movie?
Song done by
Cam.
Cam, who was the former Father Doctor. Sure.
Dr. Father.
And also Comic Book Rundown is back. I have one episode that came out last month. That's going to be coming out the last Friday of every month. I covered what did I cover? I covered
what is it, Joey? Tell me.
Firestorm.
Covered Firestorm the what?
The Nuclear Man. Why? What I put on
the
there?
Nuclear Man?
That's what it's called, yeah. That's the title of the book. The Nuclear Man.
It's nuclear.
Look, I've got a list. Fuck off. That's my excuse for everything. February, I did. What did I cover? Oh, Daredevil, and time.
Yeah, you're just complaining about that.
Yeah, 1970s Daredevil. So, but mainly because
where he's a blind shitlord.
Misogyny, man.
Dude. But I did it because the following week Daredevil series came back on Disney Plus. So I'm trying to, get those clicks.
Attaboy.
Yeah, so what do? You review the 70s version.
No, that's great.
It's where we were when I left off. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then for this month, for the end of this month, Ron and I are going to be covering Geiger, which is a really fun comic. Yeah. So
I haven't read it yet, but I'll assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. I did a little bit of a review for it for Walk Through the Multiverse last year.
Nice.
It would be nice to do a deeper dive and actually dig into it. So yeah, go check it out. We love it. Love reading comics, and comics are back.
And what's our next movie?
Our next movie we're covering.
Oh God.
This is one. Okay, I'll admit I haven't seen this one since the 90s. This is one that I'm pretty sure the only reason it got made with this actor was because of his popularity in the early 90s and his two movies. But we're gonna be watching Richie Rich from 1994.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I remember liking this movie as a kid.
Agreed. And
as a kid,
said, I haven't watched this since probably about 97.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe 98. But yeah, no, I have not watched this in almost 2 decades.
Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Oh,
There's an old man. There we go. Now
What
I'm
was that?
back.
What was that? Richie Rich is what?
Oh, this is where he tortures the old man from Two Grumpy Old Men, right? Am I thinking of the right movie?
You might be thinking of Dennis the Menace.
I am thinking of Dennis the Menace. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know Richie Rich then.
Ooh.
All right.
oh, we have to watch Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, Dennis the
Yeah,
Menace.
that's a
When did that
cartoon.
come out?
You know,
Alright,
you know
that's
who's in?
comic.
You know who else is in Dennis the Menace? Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the
The bum under the
90
bridge.
yeah, over the bridge who kills
93.
people.
Oh man, that might. Okay.
Yeah, we might have
We
to
can
go
always watch it after Richie Rich.
Yeah, we technically should have watched that by now.
Oh yeah, Dennis the Menace. Yeah, I don't
Yeah, but
remember Richie Rich.
we got paid for that one. Richie
Richie
Rich, I
Rich?
think, is on. No, Dennis the Menace.
Uh,
Richie Rich is on Netflix at the moment.
okay. Well, watch it quick.
Yeah, no shit.
Exactly.
Quick before they raise the prices and then take it off.
Ugh. But anyway, yeah. So
Excuse me.
Richie
There we
Rich.
go.
Ooh,
Richie
Have
Rich.
a good one, guys.
All right, bye, y'all.
Time loop and Scooby Doo.